Hi guys, I'm Dr. D, and I've got some important information. Do you often feel lightheaded, nauseous, or just plain yucky when you stand up, eat a large meal, or start exercising? Have you ever wondered why only you are having these problems, but others seem fine? Are you, most typically, a female between the ages of 13 and 45? You could have POTS, or POTS. POTS is more common than most people recognize, and it is underdiagnosed. What is POTS? POTS stands for Postural Orthostatic Tachycardic Syndrome. That is a long way of saying that you have a condition when you stand up or change positions, gravity makes it harder for your brain to get enough blood, so your heart responds by speeding up its rate of beating, but it still can't pump enough blood. I would also include in here that eating can trigger POTS symptoms. In normal people, when this happens, it's brief, and arteries and veins tense up to provide extra pressure to help blood get to the brain. If you have POTS, a number of things occur to make it so that the heart, which is now pumping faster, is not supplying the brain or body with enough blood to feel normal. Why does this happen? A number of reasons have been looked at, and it's likely multifactorial. Think of the heart like a water pump or a sump pump. Typically, the heart or pump is pumping blood from before the heart, which is called the preload, through the heart and out the other side of the heart, which is called the afterload. When your heart or pump speeds up the rate of beating or pumping, typically the afterload increases and more blood is delivered to the brain and body. In POTS, when the heart speeds up, the amount of blood does not increase sufficiently to meet the demands of the brain and body, causing a person to feel dizzy, lightheaded, nauseous, or just plain icky. This happens for one of several reasons, and if we understand these reasons a little bit better, we can address ways to alleviate the negative symptoms and feel better. When a normal person stands or exerts themselves, or eats, which we'll get to in a bit, their body sends signals to the heart to speed up and beat harder. In POTS, when this happens, it speeds up, but does not necessarily beat any harder. In fact, when it speeds up, it either does not pump any additional blood at all, or even worse, pumps less blood through it because by beating faster, it loses the ability to beat stronger or more efficiently. It becomes a matter of quantity over quality. The number of beats goes up, but the amount of blood pumped goes down. The central nervous system also plays a large role in several people with POTS. Every person has two nervous systems, the sympathetic and the parasympathetic. These can be thought of as the up, fight, flight, flee, and down, rest and digest, nervous systems. In POTS, these can become confused, causing the arteries and veins to constrict and dilate incorrectly, or the heart to respond to signals inaccurately, causing the symptoms of POTS. Another issue in people with POTS can be that the preload, or the blood which exists right before the heart, ready to be pumped through the heart, can be too little. Think of the scenario where you put a water pump in a bucket of water and the bucket runs out of water. The pump speeds up and tries to pump harder and harder, but there's not enough fluid to be pumped through, so the heart can't increase its output. Okay, so when is this happening, and what do we do about it? First off, if you think you might have POTS, it's important to talk to your doctor about it, because there are other heart issues that can cause POTS-like symptoms, and that are more serious and need to be addressed differently. That said, when do the symptoms of POTS occur? Typically, the version of POTS which most medical professionals talk about is the orthostatic version. That is, when you stand up, gravity shifts and pulls harder on the fluids higher in your body, necessitating your blood vessels to constrict and your heartbeat to temporarily increase to let enough blood get to your vital organs. This, however, is not the only or even the main time people with POTS have symptoms. Many people with POTS have symptoms after eating or when trying to exercise. This occurs because when you eat, a large amount of blood is rerouted to the blood vessels of your stomach, decreasing the available amount of blood from the veins before the heart, at the same time as increasing the demand in the arteries after the heart. And when you exercise, the muscles of your body demand a higher flow of blood into their arterioles and capillaries, increasing the demand of the blood after the heart, while at the same time dropping the blood pressure in the veins before the heart, causing less available blood to be pumped through the heart. Understanding these mechanisms helps us figure out how to address and treat these issues. We need to either increase the amount of blood or the blood pressure before the heart, or allow the heart to slow down and beat more efficiently. If you have been given any advice on treating POTS, you have probably been told to drink more fluids. And indeed, this is good advice. If you drink fluids, or more specifically you drink salty water, you can force your body to increase the volume of blood pumping through your system. When you increase the amount of blood in your veins and you increase the amount and availability before the heart, you increase your preload, making it easy for your heart to increase its output when needed. By salty water, what we really mean is things like Gatorade or Powerade. But really, you could also increase the amount of salt in your food. Ramen noodle seasoning packets are a great way to make warm, savory salt soup. I know, it seems odd being told to increase the salt in your food. Usually doctors say decrease the salt in your food, right? This is because most people have the opposite problem of those people with POTS. Most people struggle with high blood pressure and need to lower it. Those with POTS respond well to raising their blood pressure. Also, it's worth mentioning that a good number of people with POTS have a baseline blood pressure which runs on the low side of normal, closer to 100/60 or 110/70 than 130/70 or higher. How else can you feel better with POTS? Well, after increasing your salty fluid intake, it is most definitely time to talk to a physician, because the next steps need a bit of medical help. That said, there are medications that can increase your blood pressure, like Midodrine, which helps alleviate the symptoms of POTS. There are also medications which can selectively slow your heart rate called beta blockers, which, if used correctly, in some cases, can make it so that when the heart rate of a person with POTS increases, it is rate limited to allow it to beat more efficiently and not just more often. In several cases, people with severe symptoms can also be set up for fluid transfusions on a regular or weekly or bi-weekly basis to allow them to participate in regular activities like sports with their friends. In any case, the important thing now, if you think you might have POTS, is to talk to your physician. You are not the only person feeling awful on an almost daily basis. We just don't talk about this fairly common syndrome enough.